Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my African brothers and sisters in diaspora and as well in Africa. This is Biggie. Again, it's a beautiful Saturday. It's July 23rd, 2022. And I'm glad that I'm here. Happy to be here. May Xavier bless our broadcast. And for those that's going to be listening, hopefully have a couple of high points that really came into my attention, and the topic itself is kind of broad, but it seems like that is going to touch pretty much all Africans, and I want to share that. Basically, it's the understanding, and I want to share the screen that I'm going to be talking about is the benefit from the diaspora in the continent, whether you're rich or poor. And we're going to be talking about these in detail, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to agree about it. I just want to have a confirmation for those that are watching. My voice is clear. You can hear me and all of the above. And I'll say hello to greeting and blessing to all of you. And thank you for joining me, those that are out there in the comment section, coming in, and those that are viewing right now. So I'm going to start by the prayers that we always pray for Africa, and as well to the global leaders to really overcome this problem that we have around the globe, and especially those that's been affected in the continent and as well in the diaspora also. There's some issues out there. As you can see, in Europe, you got so many climate changes and all this unheard of 7 years old. The last one that they have all this heat issues, and as well how much it's going to affect us in coming future. So beside that, I just want to thank Xavier for giving me the opportunity to bring up some topics, the one that have always dwell within me, to give me the opportunity to share this information with all my brothers and sisters in Africa. May Xavier bless you all, and may Xavier give us the courage and the strength to be one, as He always created us to be one. He created us freely, free will, without any objection. We do right or wrong, is the one that forgives us and to keep us going strong and always fulfill His commandment. Xavier, I really appreciate you for sending your only begotten Son, our Savior. Amen. All right, I see Sarah Tasama. Thank you so much for confirming that you can hear me. Marit, hi Marit. It's good to see you again. I'm going to start with something that not being usual, but I'm going to give you something that to think about, because there's the lyrics and everything else. This is about the African Union, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. I'm just going to give you a few minutes to really enjoy what I meant by this anthem, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And here it goes. There you have it. And I found it very interesting in the anthem, and especially the last, the anthem of the African Union, let us all unite and celebrate together. It is there, and as well, I quoted the last line is, let us make Africa the tree of life. Find it very interesting from the lyric, and as well the hymn itself. It shows all the flag, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And I hope everybody enjoyed that part. We should really look into the lyrics that's been written and it's out there. And we should all celebrate, all unite and celebrate together. I love it. Love it. So the first part of the on the comment section on a few things that I really want to talk about the why is it there's such a difference, not a really a difference, but because even though you're a diaspora, you still have families, for most have families in the continent, and how these things kind of need to get to integrate, meaning, let's say the diaspora, African diaspora wants to go back home and he wants completely to 100% immerse himself in the continent affair. But there's a lot of logistics, there's a lot of things that he has to consider before moving to Africa, as it is, the economical impact. Are you going to get the same job that you got in Africa? I mean, in the West, and get paid the same way? Well, that part can be adjusted as well if he really plans it into consideration when it comes to income versus on what he can contribute to Mother Africa. So, as it is, there's a lot of information that he has to gather, and which part he's going to be participating, and he has to really consider a lot of things. But one of the strongest influence that I sought out, and why we don't have Africa not going back home and rebuild Africa and make it happen. There are a couple of issues of interest, and those interests really come through the people that live in the continent. I was just interviewing a few people, and people that really want to go back, why they cannot go back, and a few of the results that came in, I just put them in two different categories. And the main issue is Africa divides literally in the rich African and in the poor African. They both live in the continent, and each of them have a benefit from the diaspora. So that's one issue that I want to talk about, is that when we look at the benefit that a rich African gets having the diaspora not to come back home, the first thing, if you look at what does he lose if a diaspora comes home and he's a family member, okay? For the rich African using diaspora, family or friend, one, he gets a passport, he gets his visa, and he has a place to stay whenever he's traveling for business or for any other vacation. It can be anything. One. The other thing is, it's also will help him to also to come with his family, and the wife is pregnant, and he has a place to stay there because it's a family member or a friend, to allow him to do so, because that African mother will give birth in a foreign soil. And that gives them also kind of security if anything happens within his own country in Africa. He already made his children birth in a foreign country. So they become also by choice or by default to be the citizens of that specific country. And our dear rich African is not done yet. You know, he's going to seek another guarantee through that system of the Western system, healthcare. So he also benefit if anything happened in his health. He can drop by and have the healthcare for him and his family, and so on. So this rich man always goes to the same place, or maybe several other different family members. And one of them that really supported him on doing so for vacation, traveling, healthcare, decide to come home to Africa. Let's say he's can be a pharmacist, he can be a doctor, it can be anything, professor. And this rich African, when he hears that, it's kind of is going to be losing because he's not done having babies yet, and at the same time, it's kind of he's going to lose one of the places he frequently comes. So the first thing that he's going to have is this sort of anxiety on depending on the diaspora. Because if he comes, no, he might not have a place to stay. Maybe he's going to have to find somebody else. And the relation also get a little bit sour about it because now he's coming home. So now he's got to return the favor too. Because he's going to have to give him a place to stay just the same way that he did. As you all know, Africans, brothers and sisters, it's not a denial. The first thing you're going to go is into your family, or maybe friends, and settle there for a while until you get your own place and you get situated. So before this diaspora start coming, the first thing he's going to be talking to the diaspora, is to spread disinformation. It's like, why are you doing this? Why, you're living comfortably, you got a house, you got a car, you got a nice living, you got this. Why you want to come back to Africa? It's all miserable. He tells them all the political situation is this and that and this. Basically, he's going to spread even heavier disinformation, and with this diaspora kind of trying to understand it, but usually diasporas are like, we are detached from the reality of the country. Sometimes we hear other people talking about it, and the smart ones would still go back and evaluate that. That's one thing that the diaspora doesn't know, because he said, hey, I'm thinking to move, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to come on vacation. And that's when this whole thing happens. So he will show him a few things here and there. Of course, he'll have a nice vacation. When people are on vacation, some of the real core of the information that you need might not be developed for the solution you're seeking, because there's a lot of maze in the government and things that you want to do. So basically, your vacation time versus where you're going to meet some of the people that you really want to meet, and if it is something that you're going to need with the government and your intention, there's always a discouragement. But at the same time, the rich man has a very good connection, but he's gonna be really looking into, on the average, for him not to come home, because he's better off in the West. So with all this disinformation that you get, the diaspora tend to really say, wow, of course, Africa is corrupted. Now for me to get involved. So he kind of gets scared and create more havoc in his decision making. So that's one of the benefit in a nutshell on the rich man, on the rich African. Then I'll take it also back the benefit from diaspora for for the poor African. Well, the poor African, if he's got a family in the diaspora, it has same kind of interest, but it's a little bit different because this poor man might not be able to travel abroad, but at the same time, he's got a hope one day he's going to have the immigrant visa where you can migrate and having a sponsor in the foreign Western countries or whatever the countries that are, they may be targeted for education, for everything that he may need. He has to have somebody that's going to be that he depend because he also benefit financially from the diaspora that sends him money to support the family. So basically, having this diaspora come home is going to be a really an anxiety. The same thing that the rich man feels, because now if you travel abroad, I mean that's the only friend. Now he's home, so there's no benefit in there that can advance himself also in the diaspora. So the benefits are pretty much similar, except the poor man has always been the poor Africans have been supported by the diaspora by sending them money, by sending them certain clothing and necessities, like books, laptops, name it. You know, all the benefit that the poor man can benefit for his children if he's got children and family. And also that gives them a hope to keep that diaspora not to come back because the way he sees it, you know, it's kind of dark because the poverty in Africa is very, very tough. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy living. So he also loses the benefit, the financial benefits and other benefits. So the financial security actually is the main one because that's how he survives it by getting this help from the diaspora friend and family. So they got pretty much the same attitude about it. So they might not do it, you know, intentionally, you know, but they subconsciously it's always going, hey, wait a minute, you know, this it moves, you know, Africa is not the way you think it is. All this disinformations start coming in one topic to the other, pretty much it leaves a negative understanding from the diaspora. So even the diaspora goes back home, and especially those that's been living in the West for a long time, coming back home, it's kind of shock. You know, a lot of things change, population increase, food scarcity, and the expenses, how expensive the African continent becomes because they got so much gap of living abroad versus really traveling to Africa. If you travel every year, you know, once a year or every 2 years, really you'll see some progress that you started seeing and pretty much getting to the accomplishment with all this new building, a new establishment and all that. It gets a little bit overwhelming. But for those that's been out there for 20, 30 years, they've never been back home and trying to go back home and trying to resettle. It's just kind of, yeah, you got the money and everything going in, but it's not that easy on what you want to accomplish because you got really the diaspora mentality, meaning that you really think everything should be working. So psychologically, you might not be in line with the people itself. So it's very important that you need to understand what's going on in Africa and what you are pledging yourself to do. And usually when you move, you have some idea on how you're going to be living and how you're going to be doing business in Africa. So basically, overall, really is something on the back. Uh, the poor man would be dissatisfied for not really having taken advantage of that opportunity he had, but now the diaspora is going to come. So now, uh, once he comes in, yes, he might have a temporary help still financially or whatever whatsoever. But again, it doesn't last long. There's, now the diaspora is going to integrate in the system. And that, in the nutshell, there's certain disinformation that the diaspora gets from immediate friends and families, and while they wanted to think to go home, it gives them kind of who to trust become the key thing. Who's the person that you're dealing with become the key thing. And then on top of that, when you got the poor man and as well the rich man talking to you and what you're doing, the kind of the disinformation, well, some of the information, I cannot say disinformation because it's really, there's something about it, but it's not something that's going to really make you change your mind of moving back to Africa and help the African citizens and and children and all that. There's different field, different things, and you can still do business. You can still help Africans out there that lack knowledge, that lack certain intelligence, that lack material, that lack really the actual job trainings, time management, and how to create projects and all that. So different field will give different flavor. When it comes to a doctor that's moving in back home, doctor is a doctor, especially if he's a surgical doctor. And you'd be amazed, asking how come he moved here, especially on a busy surgeon in the West, and he moves back in Africa and participate on surgeries and new skill set that he's going to bring in, new tools that's required for the specific surgery. And he left. That means I honor this doctor because they're so busy. I don't know where he gets the time to really think about moving to Africa. It's one of the things that we don't have a lot of them that's going to move. But there are a lot of volunteer doctors that really take time and perform certain surgeries that are not available in the country. I applaud those. I really applaud those, even though they don't move completely 100% to Africa. But I encourage those that have the specialty, if they can take some time to do things in Africa. The other thing that came in my mind, and in my phone, I have certain daily schedules that I always put in. They're always every day, every day, same time that alarm comes. But in fact, that alarm, that note that comes, sometimes you are able to do what you're supposed to do per the event that you scheduled every day. These are the one for prayers. I have a prayer session that whether you pray or not, just the fact that you saw it in the blink of an eye, you start thinking, yes, I want to pray for the world. And it comes every morning. And every day that when I see it, I have this joy, I have this smile that I was able to do so because I'm alive. And that part always makes me smile. The fact that I'm just smiling that my prayers is out there for all of humanity, for all God creatures, for the peace and love and unity, how we can collaborate with each other without wars. This is something that I have always in my mind. So whenever you schedule things like that, whether you do it immediately or we are faster than any computer system that ever been developed. And our mind can go in nanosecond to land the sprayer that's always in you and in a flashlight. Just the fact, that moment, that time, when you see that event coming, That gives you that 1 second. Sometimes, I take the whole prayer. Sometimes I just know exactly what I want because I'm so trained to it, because I see it every day. So this is what I suggest to all listeners and all my brothers and sisters out there. I just want you to schedule on the, if you look at on the description of today's, I put in there that put Africa in your daily calendar. Just pick any time that you are awakened so you can be able to see it. Just put Africa. So every day you'll see Africa. And your prayers to it and your positive outlook should say exactly what I wrote in it, is that good things are coming my way. Thanks. Just put that along in your note. And this is for Africa, but at the same time, this positive affirmation will make your day. Good things are coming one way. That includes for Africa. So if you see it every day, as noted, every day you see it, you become immune to it, and you have automatic response for that moment on what you wish for Africa to be. Good things are coming her way. We see something as a reminder, and those of you who's got a cell phone and you got calendar, mark your calendar every day for Africa. Whether you do something about it or not, you saw it every day. That's how we can move forward collectively. And you'll see even changes in your life, because this is something that you are looking for, the greater goods for the world, because Africa is part of the world. So this positive outlook, this positive attraction that you have within yourself, it will propagate throughout the world. I would say for anybody in the world, you just put it first thing in the morning. You put your prayers, you put your agendas. That gives you the time really how you're going to have an outlook for the rest of the day. Anything that you see about negativity, atrocity that goes across Africa, you have already your prayers put in. You already saw that every morning. And you're always going to have an idea whether you can do it yourself or contribute to it and help out people. That's how we're going to be Africans, because it's a reminder every day is Africa, because Africa exists every day and her people exist too. So if all of us just have this simple exercise, keep Africa in your mind. I always said, eat, drink, sleep, Africa. If you got that in your mind, the progress of Africa will come, and you don't have to worry about it, how it's going to come, but it will, because we all collectively are looking for a better Africa, for a peaceful Africa. That includes the peace in Africa, and as well it goes to a diaspora, because that peace already gives the worry free for the diaspora, not to worry about his own families that are in Africa that may be persecuted because of corruption, because of anything. But if we think about the positive for Africa and we create that ambiance and that understanding, then we can propagate this positive energy toward Africa. In return, we in diaspora receives it for the safety of our people on the ground. If we practice that and be part of, because we got technology, and one of this technology, use it. Put Africa in your calendar every day. Every day when you see it, you know what to do. because if you don't see it, sometimes out of sight, out of mind. So even though we come in on 2 p.m. on a different occasion to listen to what Swali Nation offers on a daily basis, from Sunday, Monday, yeah, Mika Monday, you got Tanzan Tuesday, you got Professor Isra on Wednesday, you got Dr. Ebenezer, and then Paul, Swali Nation, for the Swahili and Ebenezer potential. And as well, Friday recap with Israel. And of course, it comes on Saturday as a diaspora talk. This past days, in about 3 weeks, and as you all know, there's a lot of things that I had to bring into our foundation to the Swahili Nation One Africa and explain what we stand for and send them links, give them more different information that's out there that Mika puts out. And I get the feedback, and hopefully once everything is said and done, that's why we're struggling to get this GoFundMe, and eventually, shortly, I'm going to share with you guys. But at the same time, just to give you an idea, I'm going to put an invite out there. Those of you who wants to join, I really appreciate that. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to share another video. This is something that I really like, and you all love, and I really love the music. It was well put in, and I put the invite in there in the streamline, and there where I saw you, Bobby Wright, Bobby E. Wright. I see that. So let's put this on and have just a little bit of a good feeling of what we do, or why we are here. And my brother Mika always put that music. He did it right. So let me share that. Give me a second. I'm going to share the screen, and there we go.
In the covers of your heart, studio beloved, your day star, the fairest among 10,000 words. You formed the seasons and fixed the time. You gave me sparks in the morning light. Creation flowed from your love. You were crafty and I was breathing. You were laughing, I was reaching out for you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of the day with you. With you. Cursed in the garden of paradise, knew the pain from the Father's heart. To get us back, you gave it all. Filled in the likeness of flesh on earth, bore the cross that we deserve. You've gotten down on one knee. Spirit breathing on me. Been saying I'm see what I was made for. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. With you. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Jesus. The whole point of my existence is to know you, oh. The whole point of my existence is to know you. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Lord. The whole point of my existence is to know your love. The whole point of my existence is to know your love. Is to know your love. Is to know your love. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. With you.
Again, you know, it's one of the most amazing music. It makes you feel so just incredible feelings. And I don't know about you guys. Again, I sent out the StreamYard invite. I just want to share also where our GoFundMe is at now, and we need to bring it to speed now. And this is where we are. Does everybody see that? We are 3,370, and hopefully, at least we can close the gap for 3,400. I don't ask much. It's only €5 each. If you can put, I'll donate myself just to close the gap. So I'll make sure that I have that put together. But I just want you to really see the truth of Africa. So just watch this.
Okay. The world that we are living right now, there's so much lies, and we're living lies. Sometimes, even when you speak the truth, people, they're not interested in the truth. People, they don't pay attention to the truth. They don't want to hear it. But what is truth? What is truth? Is truth, is it what you read from the books? For example, if you want to know about Africa, is it what you read on the book? Things that different people, they write, right? Their opinion about Africa? Or is it something that somebody tells you about yourself, that this is the truth? This is who you are.
For me, at least for me, the truth for me is that still small voice inside of me. Like when the whole world is telling you that this is impossible, achieving one Africa in our generation is impossible. We have been struggling for that for like 60 years and we still don't have unity in Africa. It is impossible. There's still small voice inside of me that tells me that it's possible to achieve that. When the world is telling you that, you know what, you cannot do this. I mean, you're African, you cannot make it, especially outside of Africa, because you're black, you cannot make it. There's still small voice inside of me that is telling me that you can do. That is truth for me. And each one of us, we have that instinct inside of us. Regardless of what the world tells you, regardless of what has been written in the books, because everything you see is opinion of people. They did their own research, they discovered some stuff and they wrote it. That means you can find your own truth as well. And it's inside of us, that voice. And if you never heard that voice, then I think you can do whatever you want to do, whether it's meditation, whether it's research, whether it's going to school and find the truth at the end of the day. Because the truth will be there. The world we're living in today and the system of this world, it was never created for black people or for Africans. This system, as they were creating it, like Africa, you and me, we were outside of the picture. That's why today, you African, you can go anywhere around the world and still feel like it's not your home, still feel like you're isolated, exploited. You're not belonging there because it's not your system. Our ancestors, when they were taken a long time ago during slavery and brought there, they were brought there not to have a good life. No, they were brought there to work for white men, to develop them. Today, you have a lot of countries out there that are developed because of the blood, sweat, and tears of a black man. That's how it was created. So it's true, today we're fighting for the rights outside of Africa, but I'm afraid that we might not be able to see that. And I'm being optimistic when I say this, because unless that system change, we cannot see that change, because it was never created for you at the first place. But sadly, not only outside of Africa, when you come inside of Africa, we are still struggling with the same system. Hey, I'm going to share with you some of this that we have believed for so long time about Africa and about ourselves, but it's all about the propaganda of changing the narratives and the beliefs about Africa so that we may never succeed. And I'm not going to point fingers at anyone. In fact, I always point fingers at us as Africans. The lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google, who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came and then he went back, he gave a report. And then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them. So they divided us, right? Divide the continent and give each other some pieces. When you go to Angola, Angola, it means the kingdom. That's the meaning of Angola. Even the capital city of Angola, they say it's Luanda right now, but it used to be called Luanda. But you know, those white men, when they came, again, guys, I'm not anti-West. Don't get me wrong. But again, when those colonizers came, what they did, this is what they say. They say, if you read in the history, they'll tell you that they were not able to pronounce Angola. It is impossible. Like, you are smart, you study, you're civilized, that's how you see yourself, and you cannot pronounce the word Angola. So it changed to Angola. Luanda, it changed to Luanda. And so many other different places. If you type right now on Google, who discovered, the first person to discover Victoria Falls is a white man. David Livingstone, he's the one who discovered Victoria Falls. But the people of Batonga, they used to name that place Mosi Oatunya, the smoke that thunders. That's the original name of Victoria Falls. But today, everybody will say, we call it Victoria Falls. And we say that David Livingstone discovered that. And we still praise the name of the Queen Victoria. The same thing to the Lake Victoria. We call it Lake Victoria. But that lake, it had its original name the way before that guy came and discovered that. These are lies. Not only that, even the word Africa. Do you know who discovered the word Africa? You know who named our continent? It's a white man. It was not Africa. I told you that the Congo kingdom was bigger kingdom all the way to Angola. Let me call Angola. All the way to Angola. And then they divided it. People, like right now, if you see African map, there is part of Angola is inside Congo. Do you know that? Not only that, they use another way to teach different language. So people in Angola, they started to learn how to speak what? Portuguese. And people from Congo, they started to learn how to speak Belgium. Why? They were united, they were strong, but they had to divide them by teaching them different language so that they may not appreciate their culture, they may not be grateful with who they are, they may not embrace their identity and learn another identity. They were not done, they didn't stop there. Oh, they took some of our people. They found some people who, like Africans who were like strong like me, handsome like me. They took them and they took them away of the continent. Skillful Africans. These days we call like brain drain, right? They took them away because they wanted to develop themselves. And today, when you look at African, everybody out there think that Africa, they have low IQ. Who is the founder of IQ anyways? Africans, they're poor. Africans, they need support. Africans cannot survive without us being there, because from the first place, we went there, we discovered them, we taught them, we helped them to develop. Today, we're even happy when you look at South Africa, the way it developed, and we are happy about that. That, hey, look at this. But you can see what is going on in South Africa there. The division that is in that country, our brothers and sisters, it's outrageous. So the lies began all the way from the beginning. Today, Africans, we are struggling with identity. We're struggling with division. We look at each other differently because of our tribes, because of our color, because of our nationality, because of our languages. And we're still struggling with that. We don't think we're one people. We don't think we're one because of someone else who had its own interest to divide and to conquer Africa. And it's still happening today. We ask ourselves every single day, why Africa is poor? Africa is poor because we don't have our identity anymore, because somebody else named our identity. And the big person to blame there is us Africans, who allowed that to happen back then and who are still allowing it to happen even today. I was asking myself, if we know how much unity means to Africa, we know that unity is power. You cannot know the meaning of power, and you cannot know the true meaning of power if you don't have unity. If you don't have unity, you don't have power. Africans, we don't know the meaning of power because we don't have unity. I'm telling you guys, power is not in the military. It's not in that. It's not about that. It's about if we are not united. And leaders and everybody in Africa knows that the only thing that can change Africa is unity and oneness. But we don't pursue it. But we are not ready to do it. Why is that? Because we have been comfortable for so long, living divided, losing our identity, and we are not ready to put on the work to find our true identity from the beginning, the true history of Africa even before colonization. Know who we really are as Africans. This is what I say all the time, that Africa is a big family with 55 different children. These 55 different children, they don't have same behaviors. They don't have the same, they don't look alike. Sometimes they don't even speak the same language. It depends where they grew up. But we are family. Why 55? Because 54, there are countries inside Africa, and that one country It's diaspora. Africans all around the world, and they're our family. Because Africa is not just a place, but Africa is people. Me and you, we are Africa. The world is telling you this, that there's developing country, there's developed country. That's what they say. I never seen African say that. Who said that? White man. He said that. Oh, you guys, Africa, you are a developing country. Oh, us, we are a developed country. Let me ask you a question. Developed country means you got yourself figured out. But why all the time, constantly, you're looking forward and you try to exploit Africa to develop yourself? If you're developed, you don't need to develop yourself. You're a developed country. You got yourself figured out. And we are the ones that are developing. And yet, you exploit us. The truth is, we are all developing country, guys. The reason why there's this lie, so that you may look down on yourself. You may look down on yourself and believe that you need help, you need support, you need loans, you need aids, and you always beg to that because you want to develop. You are still not developed. What is the true meaning of developing? What is the meaning of that? And today, the system of this world was never created for Africans, and yet we still try to develop according to the Western standard. That development is having tall buildings, like long buildings and all this stuff. It's not about that. What about community? What about where people live? What about food? What about infrastructure? Do we really need tall and long building while our people are dying in Africa because of hunger? Why don't we invest that money into food? Why don't we empower our farmers so that they can produce more and Africa will never struggle with food? Today we have to ask for food from outside to come to, like the World Food Organization, they have to support Africa for that. It's shame on Africa and shame on us. Africa is a continent that can sustain itself without depending anyone, without relying on anyone for 100, even 1,000 years, because Africa is the only continent that has everything, like name it, everything we have it in Africa. Is the richest continent in the world. We cannot be free until we're in charge and we are in control of our own narratives, of our own medias, of our own economy. The reason why we're still poor because our economy is controlled by the Westerners. You can never be free if your economy is controlled. The reason why the media never talks positivity about Africa because it's not African media. They have their own agenda. Just like I told you, all these lies about Africa, they have their own agenda. They will never talk positivity about Africa. We want to transform and change Africa, and we cannot change Africa if we do not change. Yes, we're talking about the biggest problem we have in Africa is unemployment, but I want you to change that word problem to opportunity. For me, I don't see anything as a problem. It's an opportunity. Unemployment is an opportunity for you to discover, for you to do something to create jobs in Africa. Because in the age today, it's not about sitting and waiting for government to employ you, but you stepping outside, see the problem. One of my friends once said, you have to fall in love with the problem, because once you fall in love with the problem, you do research, you search about it, and you try to do something about it. And eventually you bring that change that Africa needs. If I want to change anything surrounding me, then I have to change from inside out. And I'll be able to bring that change that Africa needs. And youth, we're the leaders of today, we're leaders of tomorrow. We always hear that. And we have that in our hands. It's an opportunity for us to bring that change. Thank you so much.
There you have it. You know, Mika, the man himself, told us all to do whatever that we can do best and have that change within ourselves. Hey, Abiyak, it's good to see you again. And anybody that's going to join me, I'm going to put an invite in there and let's bring it to a discussion. This is this speech right there is the most powerful speech that you heard with Mika. Mika really working hard on the other side, on the back, getting interviews and all that. Well, I got the first one that joined me is Deborah. Deborah, welcome.
Salam.
Batam salam. Andin Antena. That's good. That's good. And now, is our topic in the Matakin, and that's what I'm talking about. So our listeners, just to translate, I'm just giving her a little recap in Amarinya, and we take it from there. በውጭ ሀገር ላለው ዲያስፖራ እና ከአፍሪካ ጋር ያለው ዲያስፖራ ማለት ሀብታሙ ለምን ዲያስፖራ እንደሚፈልግ ድሃው ደግሞ ለምን ዲያስፖራ እንደሚፈልግ አስቀምጬው ነበረ። እሱ ሰምተሽዋል?
አሁን ነው ገባኝ።
እ
ገብቼ ነበረ ግን እንትን አሁን ገብቼው ነበረ ግን አወጣውና እንደገና
አዎ በቃ ሀብታሙ ብዙ ጊዜ እንግዲህ ቪዛ ያገኛል፣ ሁሉ ነገር ያገኛል፣ ወደ ዌስት ይመጣል ማለት ነው። እና አድቫንቴጅ አለው። ለምን ፋሚሊው አሜሪካ ነው የሚኖረው። ከዛም አንዳንድ ጊዜ ሚስቱ ታረግዛለች፣ ሚስቱን ይዞ ይመጣል፣ ሚስቱ ደግሞ መጣ ትወልዳለች። አሁን ልጁ ግማሽ አሜሪካዊ ሊሆን ይችላል፣ እንግሊዛዊ ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ግን ኢትዮጵያዊ ነው። ልጆቻቸውንም ትምህርት ቤት ለመላክ ሲፈልጉ ይሄንን ፋሚሊ ይጠቀሙበታል። ግን ያ ሰው የሚቀበላቸው በሙሉ ይሄ ሁሉ ነገር ሲያደርግላቸው እሱ አገር ይመለሳሉ ሲል ይሄንን የመሳሰሉ ነገሮችን እንጎልባቸዋል ነው ማለት። ቫኬሽንም ከመጣ ሲታመምም ልጆቹም ከታመሙ መጥቶ በነፃ የሚታከምበት እንደገና ልክ እሱ መለሳሉ ሲል አይ ባክን ያገር አይስማማም እንዳትመጣ ሚል ዲስካሬጂንግ ኢንፎርሜሽን ይሰጡታል። ተስማሚያለሽ?
እዚህ ላይ ይቅርታ ግን ምን አልገባኝም። ለምሳሌ አፍታም ሳሙና ስሙ
ምናሺ
እዚህ ላይ አልገባኝም። አፍታም ያ
ኖ ሀብታሙ አፍሪካዊ ሀብታም የሆነው አፍሪካዊ ፓስፖርት አለው፣ ቪዛ አለው፣ ሁሉ ነገር አለው። መምጣት ይችላል፣ መግባት ይችላል። ገብቶሻል አባኔ? ስለ ሀብታሙ ነው ማወራለሁ። እና ልክ ዲያስፖራው ደግሞ ሁሉ ጊዜ የሚቀበለው ይመጣና አይ እኔ ሀገር ቤት ለመመለስ ፈልጋለሁ፣ ጠቅልዬ መግባት ፈልጋለሁ ይለዋል። አሁን ሀብታሙ ብዙ ጊዜ እንደዛ አይነት ቤኔፊት ስላለው አንዳንዶቹ አይ ምን ይሰራል ሀገር ቤት እኮ ጥሩ አይደለም ያለው፣ እዚህ ይሻላል፣ እዚህ ኑር ይለዋል። ግን አሁን ለምሳሌ ሰውየው ዶክተር ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ሊያክም ይችላል፣ ብዙ ነገሮች ይኖረዋል፣ ብዙ ቤኔፊት የሚሰጠው አለ። እንደ ሀገሩ ባይከፈልም እንደ ሀገሩ ደግሞ መኖር ይችላል። እና ያ ሰው ደግሞ ይሄንን ዲሳይድ አድርጎ ነው እንግዲህ መመለስ የሚፈልገው፣ ማየትም አለበት። እና ብዙ ጊዜ ሀብታሞቹም እንደዛው ይዙታል። ለተቸገረው ደግሞ ከውጭ ለሚመጣለት ብር ይላክለታል። እና አንድ ቀን እኔም ቪዛ አግኝቼ ማረፊያ አለኝ ብሎ ነው የሚያስበው አይደል እንዴ? ከሀገር ለቆ ሲወጣ እና ሆፕ አለው። ልጆቹም ሲጨርሱ ትምህርት ቤት እንዲሄዱለት ደግሞ ይሄም ሊረዳውም ይችላል። ፋይናንሻሊ ደግሞ ይረዳሉ፣ ይላክላቸዋል ገንዘብ እንበል። በዛ ላይ ደግሞ ሳይመጣ ሲቀር መበደር ይችላሉ። ለምን እነሱ ከአሜሪካ ሆነ ያገሩ ይመጣላቸው ብር ስላለ ማለት ነው። ልክ ዲያስፖራ አሁን በቃ እንግዲህ እኔ ሀገር ልገባ ነው ምናምን ሲላቸው ብዙ ጊዜ ምን ይሰራልሃል ነው የሚባለው። ለምንድን ነው የምትመለሰው? ለምን ትመለሳለህ? እዛ ሀገር እንዳለ ተስማምተህ ብትኖር ይሻላል፣ እዚህ ምንም ችግር ነው እንጂ ሌላ ነገር የለም ለሚለው ቋንቋዎች ለዲያስፖራ ትንሽ ዲስካሬጅ ያደርጋል። እና እነዚህን ነበረ ዛሬ ሃይላይት ያደረኩት።
ኦኬ እኔ
ሰው አንድ ጊዜ ባጭሩ ልንገራቸውና basically I just gave her pretty much what I talked about earlier about the poor and rich African and what the benefits with the diaspora and how they did it. I spoke about it earlier in our conversation. That's how I started the diaspora talk today. So go ahead, Deborah.
እኔ ሁለት ቦታ ነው ከፍዬ የማየው። ለምሳሌ ዲያስፖራ ሁለት ቦታ ከፍዬ የማየው። ለምን ካልከ ለምሳሌ አገር ሰርቆ የሚሄዱም አሉ፣ ተቸግሮ የሚሄዱም አሉ። ለምሳሌ እንወስደኛ ሀገር ከወሰደም ቲፒኤልኤፍ አሁን የቲፒኤልኤፍ ዲያስፖሮች አገር ሰርቆ ነው ሄዱ። እነሱ ዲያስፖራ ይላሉ እንጂ ምክንያቱ አገር ሰርቆ ይላሉ። ምክንያቱ እነሱ ለሀገር ቦታ የለም። አገር የሚሰርቅ ማለት አይወድም ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ እሱ የራሱ ብቻ ነው የሚያስበው እንጂ አገር አያስብም። ስለዚህ እኔ እንደራሴ የሚያስቡ ሁለት ዲያስፖሮቹም ሁለት ቦታ ይካፈላሉ። እንደኔ እንደሌላም አይደለም። እንደኔ ሀሳብ ነው የሚያለው። ለምሳሌ ዲያስፖራ የምለው አለ፣ ለሀገር የማሰቡ አለ፣ የሀገር ክፋት የሚወዱ አለ፣ ደግሞ የሀገር ክፋት የሀገር ብጥብጥ የሚፈለጉ አለ፣ ለሀገር የምነገዱ አለ። ብዙ ነገር አይተናል። እኔ አገር የሚወደው ችግርም ቢመጣም ቢቸገርም አገር ስለሚወድ ወደ አገሩ መመለስ ይወዳል፣ ይፈልጋል። አገር የማይወድ ደግሞ ራሱ አገር እንደሚፈርስ ይፈልጋል። እንዴት ወደ አገሩ ይመለሳል ታዲያ? እኔ እንደዚህ ነው የማስበው። መጀመሪያ አገር ሁሉም ነገር በላይ ናት። አገር እናት ናት። እናት የሚቀድም የለም። እንደ ማንም ሰው ማንም ደግሞ
on ላልሽም just translate ላድርግላቸው ለሁለት ይከፈላል። አንደኛው ለሀገሩ የሚያስብ ነው፣ አንዱ ደግሞ ሀገሩን ዘርፎ ይወጣ ነው። አሁን ሌባ እንደሆነ ተመልሶ አይገባም። እኔ ማወራለሁት ግን ብዙ ዲያስፖራ አስቦበት በደንብ አጥንቶ ብዙ ዓመት አድርጓል። ሀገር እውቀት ይዟል። ሁሉ ነገር ይዞ ሲመጣ እና ሀገር ቤት እገባለሁ የሚለው የሚያጋጥሙትን ነገሮች ነው። ሀብታሙ አለ እንደዚህ እንደሚያስበው ለራሱ ቤኔፊት፣ ጭቁንም አለ ለራሱ ቤኔፊት የሚያስበው። እሱ ላይ ነኝ ያለሁት እንጂ ክሪሚናል የሆነ ዲያስፖራ ሁልጊዜ ክሪሚናል ነው፣ ሀገሩም አይመለስም፣ አያስበውም። ካሰበም ደግሞ እጁን ሰጥቶ ነው የሚገባው። ገብቶሻል አባቴ? ይሄንን ነው የሁለቱ። ግን እኔ ማወራ ያለሁት ቅኑ የሆነ ዲያስፖራ አገሩ ሊመለስ ሲል የሚያጋጥሙ ታሪኮችን ነው የምናገር ያለሁት። ምን ይሰራልሃል? ይሄ እኮ ሀገሩ ችግር ነው፣ እዛ በትኖር ይቻላል የሚለውን ቋንቋ ከዳሁም ከሀብታሙም አስተያየታቸውን ነው የምሰጥ ያለው ዛሬ። ገብቶሻል አባቴ? ክሪሚናል የሆነው ዲያስፖራ ክሪሚናል ምንም So just to translate the very first part of what Deborah said is that there are two types of diaspora. So one is the one like TPLF that robbed the country and they're out there. Okay, so you just want to point that out also. And there's also the one that really believed in his motherland, that really want to do something about it. He doesn't care about the poverty or the thing that is out there, but he's there to help. And people really volunteer for that. So that's what we discussed. So I just took her back again just about the diaspora discouragement, from the poor men in Africa and the rich men in Africa, and how they always have the same narrative, not encouraging the diaspora to move back home. እዛ ላይ ነው እንግዲህ ጥያቄ ያለው። አንቺ ዘመድሽ ጓደኛሽ ብለሽ መታስቡ እንዳትመለሽ ብሎ ሲነግርሽ እንዴት ታስቢያለሽ አንቺ አዘ ዲያስፖራ?
እኔ ሀገሬ ስለሚወድ ይመለሳሉ። ሰዎች የምከለከሉ ለምሳሌ እኔ ሀገሬ እወዳለሁ፣ በጣም የሚወዳው ሀገር ማለት እናት ማለት ነው። እናት በላይ ናት። ሀገር ከሌለችም እኮ እናትም የለችም። ስለዚህ ሀገሬ ስለሚወድ ችግር አላስብም። ብራብም በጣምም የሀገሬ ህዝብ ጋር መኖር ፈልጋለሁ። እንደ ራሴ ነው እንጂ እንደሌላ ሰው አይደለም። ምክንያቱ ሀገሬ ስለሚወድ የሰው ሀገር ናት፣ ሀገሬ ደግሞ የሀገሬ ናት። ስለዚህ በጣምም ቢራብኝም ወደ ሀገሬ መልሼ ቤተሰቦቼ ጋር መኖር ፈልጋለሁ እንጂ ችግር አይገደበኝም እኔ።
Okay. Hey, Yanchi, so just to translate, I asked her about her opinion about going back home. For her, it doesn't matter. She loves her country, her motherland. She said if there's no love for her motherland, it's like not having even a mother. So she describes it that she will go regardless what the conditions are. Nobody can influence her decision. Now, my question is, Deborah, ለአንቺ የምጠይቅሽ ጥያቄ እንደዛ አይነት ነገር አጋጥሞሻል ወይ? እዛው ይሻልሻል፣ እዛ ኑሪ፣ እዚህ እንኳን አትምጪ የሚል እንደዛ አይነት ነገሮች አጋጥሞሻል ወይ?
አዎ አለ። አንዳንድ ዘመዶችም ይላሉ፣ ግን ቤተሰቦች ብቻ ነው እና የሰው እግር ምንም አይሰራም ምናምን ይላሉ። ግን
አዎ፣
ብዙ ሰዎች አሉ ጓደኞቹም ለምን
አዎ።
ትመጣለሽ? አንቺ የምትኖሪ ጥሩ ሀገር ናት፣ ተመቸሽ የምኖረው ይላል። እኔ ግን አልተመቸኝም፣ ምክንያቱም ሀገሬ ናት። ሀገሬ ዳም ብትሆን እወዳታለሁ። ስለዚህ እኔ እንደ ራሴ ግን ሀገሬ አሜሪካን ቢኖር አውሮፓን ቢኖር የት ቢኖር እኔ ሀገሬ አይበልጠኝም። ሀብት እኮ ነገ ይሄዳል። ሀገሬ ሄጄ ብሞት ይሻለኛል እኔ። እና እዚህ
እሺ፣
ሁኜም ደግሞ የምችለኝ አግዛለሁ። ለምሳሌ አሁን እዚህ ሆኜ ብላክ ማርኬት የምልከው በባንክ ነው የምልከው። እኔ እንደ ራሴ እንደዚህ ነው አጋጥሞኛል። ግን ለምን ትመጣለች ምናምን የሚሉ አሉ። እኔ ግን ደግሞ ሀገሬ ስለምወድ ሀገሬ ሄጄ ቢሞት ይሻለኛል እላለሁ። ምክንያቱም
ኦኬ። እና እኔ
ሴት
አሁን እዛ ላይ አንድ ጊዜ
እዚህ ሀገር የሚኖሩ
translate ላድርግላቸው. Basically, she said, yep, she love her country, no matter what, whether it's poverty or not. You know, without my country, really, I love my country, so I want to be there. I'd rather die there. But at the same time, she lives in abroad, but she's not happy about it. She really want to be with her family. It's just for different reasons. She's there as a temporary, but she's gonna be going back. So now my question was, yeah, did you get people that really say, don't come back, stay there? She said her family wants her, only her family wants her back. Okay, all the other friends and stuff like, why you come back? You know, you're better off there. You know, there's nothing in here. You know what I mean? So my next question is for Deborah. እንደዚህ ብሎ የሚጠይቁሽ people that are asking you not to come back, እንዳትመለሽ የሚሉት አንቺ ብር ትልክላቸዋለሽ ወይ?
እነሱም እኮ
ምን አልሽኝ?
እነሱም የሚሉ አሁን ለምሳሌ ጓደኞች የሚሉ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ብዙ ችግር አለ፣ ኑሮ ውድነት አለ ምናምን ይላሉ እንጂ ለክፋት አይደለም የሚሉ። ግን እናንተ እዛ የምትኖሩ ቢያንስ ጥሩ አገር ነው የምትኖሩ፣ ደህና አገር ነው የምትኖሩ፣ እዛ ብትቆዩ ምናምን ይላሉ። እኔ ደግሞ ደስ አይለኝም፣ ምክንያቱም ብዙ ችግር አለ። ለምሳሌ እኔ እዚህ ሀገር የሚኖረው እኮ የአገሬ አይደለችም፣ ሁለተኛ ዜጋ ነው እንጂ የእነሱ ዜጋ አይደለም። እኔ ብዙ ችግር አለ፣ እንደራሴ ብዙ ችግር አለ። የሰው ግን አይመኝም። ቢሞትም ቢኖርም ሀገር ይቻላል። እኔ እወዳለሁ እንደ ራሴ። እኔ ግን ማንም ራሴ መከበድ ብዬ አይደለም፣ ግን በቃ ሀገሬ በጣም ነው የምወደው። ሁሌም በቃ አለቅሳለሁ። ኢቭን ባንዲራም ቢሆን በቃ ዝም ብዬ እምባዬ ይመጣኛል። እኔ እወዳለሁ ሀገሬ ለማንም የትኛውም ሀገር ቢሆን
እኔ አሁን ያለኝ እንትን ይሄን በትልቁ አምጥቼዋለሁ እና አሁን ሁሉም እንግዲህ እንዳልነው ሀብታሙም ሆነ ፑር ሆኖም the same common ነገር አላቸው። አንደኛው ምንድን ነው? አንቺ ሳወዱ ሳይሆን ወደው ሳይሆን ሳወዱ የሚናገሯቸው ቃላቶች አሉ። አሁን ለምሳሌ እዛ ይሻልሻል፣ እዚህ ኑሮ ውድነቱ ናችም፣ ይሄን ማድረጋችን የሚለው በጥሩ ሁኔታም አለ። ግን ከጀርባው ደግሞ ሌሎችም ነገሮችም ያቅፋሉ። ገባሽ? መቼ ነው አፍሪካ ውስጥ ያለው አፍሪካዊ ኑ በቃ ግቡና የሚደረገውን አርጉ የሚሉ ገብቶሻል አባቴ? አዎ ላንቺ እዛ ይሻልሻል፣ አሁን ያለው እዚህ ችግር ነው ይልሻል። ግን ሁልጊዜ አፍሪካ ውስጥ ሁልጊዜ ችግር አለ ሲባል እና ያንን ችግር የምንቀይር እኛ መቀየር አለብን ለምንለው አላማ እንዴት ብለሽ ታየዋለሽ? ያንን ለመቀየር ያ እዛ ያለው አዎ ችግር አለ ይገባናል። ያላችሁን ችግር ግን ያንን ችግር ለመወጣት ምን እያደረጋችሁ ነው ብለሽ ትጠይቀሽ ታውቂያለሽ?
ሀገር ውስጥ አሉ ዲያስፖራ
ሀገር ውስጥ ያሉት
ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ብዙ ችግር አለ። ብዙ ኢትዮጵያ ብቻ አይደለም አፍሪካ ውስጥ ብዙ ችግር አለ። ኑሮ ውድነት አለ፣ በሽታ አለ፣ በቴሮሪስት የሚሞቱ ብዙ አለ። ውስጥ አሉ ይቸገራሉ። እሱ አይቶ ሌላ ሀገር ይመኛሉ። እኛ ደግሞ ሌላ ሀገር የሚኖረን ደግሞ ሀገራችንን እንመኛለን። እኔ ለዲያስፖራ ነው የማስበው። ለምሳሌ እኛ እኮ በወር እኮ $2 እኛ መቀየር እንችላለን። ለምን እነሱ ችግር አሉ። ለምሳሌ በሙስና በምኑም ብቻ አሁን ለምሳሌ ሱዳን እንውሰድ። ሱዳን እኮ ስንት ሰዎች የሞቱ ስንት ሰዎች የተቸገሩ ከየቦታ ከየመንገዱ እየተኙ ነው። ለምሳሌ የሱዳን ዲያስፖሮች እኮ መቀየር ይችላሉ። በሁለት ከብዳት ጥሩ ለምሳሌ አሁን እኛ ሀገር እንውሰድ። አሁን አብይ ለሀገር መስራት ይፈልጋል ይወዳል። እኛ ደግሞ ዲያስፖሮች እኮ በወር $2 $3 ብልክ ብዙ ለውጥ ይመጣል። ስለዚህ እኔ የሚፈልገው ዲያስፖራ ላይ ነው እንጂ ሀገር ውስጥ ችግር አለው፣ ሞት አለ፣ ራብ አለ፣ ከየቦታ መሄድ አለ። በጣም ይቸገራሉ። ግን እኔ የምለው ለኢትዮጵያም ለኤርትራም ለሁሉም ለአፍሪካ ዲያስፖሮች የምለው በወር እኮ $3 $2 $1 ብልከኝ እኮ ብዙ ችግር ይፈታል። ከየቦታ ለምሳሌ ሰዎቹ እዛ ከየባህሩ ከመኑ የሚሳደዱ እዛ ውስጥ ዲያስፖራ አንድ ላይ ተሰብስቦም ቢሆን አገር ውስጥ ኢንቨስትመንት ቢሰራ 20 ቢሆን 30 ቢሆን የስራ ቢፈጠሩ እኮ ይሄ ሁሉ ማሳደዱ ይቃለላል ትንሽ።
አንድ ጊዜ ትራንስሌት አድርገውና basically she touched point on what it's not what the local African can do, it's what the diaspora can do. The diaspora, she put in different aspect of it. For example, whenever she sends the money back home, she sends it directly to the bank because she wants her country to benefit without using the black market. So she's in line to help as diaspora, whatever that she's sending money back home to help her friends or relatives. But one of the things that she also encourages is the diaspora that has to put all the effort to help out by putting $1 or $2, whatever that you can donate into different projects, into helping the country on things that needs on the need base. But unfortunately, there's a lot of shortage also when it comes to the diaspora sending the money and where the money goes and how people really abuse the use of the money. There's a lot of funds that's been sent and we lost it. We don't know where it went. Again, so the diaspora is sending the money. At the same time, there's so much corruption that people really, really abusing the system, and where the people cannot even help themselves. But we diaspora, by sending money into projects and stuff like that, $2, $3 a month, and as many of us funding different projects, that would be a good idea. Look at what?
Ah,
Jonathan. I know Jonathan is listening on the back in Aboyak. If any of you can join me, MT joined me, and for some reason he just dropped off. Okay. እና እሱ ላይ ነን ያለ ነው
እዚህ ላይ የምደንቀው እዚህ ላይ
ተናገር።
የምደንቀው ሁሌ በቃ ደስ የሚሉኝ የኤርትራ ዲያስፖራዎች እና የኤርትራ መንግስት እውነት ሁሉም አፍሪካኖች እንደዚህም ቢሆን ብዙ ነገር ይለወጥም ነበረ። እኔ እነሱ ለነሱ ብዬ አይደለም ለእውነት ብዬ ነው። ለነሱ ብዬ አይደለም ለእውነት። ለምሳሌ አሁን ዩኤን እኮ ኤርትራ ውስጥ ይገባል እንዴ? ሀያ ዓመት ይላሉ። እኔ ቲፒኤልኤፍ የሚመጣ ጊዜ እኔ አልተወለድኩም፣ አላውቅም። እኔ ኤርትራና ኢትዮጵያ ተጣለው ጊዜ ቅርብ ጊዜ አብይ መጣ ጊዜ ነው። ኢትዮጵያ ይመስሉኛል እነሱ ይመስለኛል እንጂ ተጣልተው ምናምን አያውቁም ነበረ። ግን ሁሌ ይደንቃሉ። በጣም ነው የምደንቃቸው ዲያስፖራዎችን። መንግስቱ አዎ መንግስትና ዲያስፖራ እኮ ችግር የለም አላለም። ግን በጣም ነው ሀገራቸውን የሚወዱ በጣም ሀገራቸውን የማያገዙ
እና እንደ ኤርትራ በፊት እንደነበረው 2% ይሄድ ነበረ።
አዎ እነሱ ለምሳሌ እኮ
2% ኤርትራ የሆነች 2% ለሀገር ይላክ ነበረ። እሱም ሌላም ታሪክ አለው። ለምን እሱንም አሜሪካ ነች ያስቆመችው። ከዚህ መላክ እንደማይቻል ያኔ ነው። በፊት ልክ ከነጻነት በኋላ 2% ከነጻነትም በፊት 2% ካለሽ ገቢ ይላክ ነበረ ኤርትራ ውስጥ ለኤርትራ ይላክ ነበረ። በመሀል ሳንክሽኖች እና ምኖቹ ሲመጡ እሱንም አስቀሩ። ማለት መላክ አልችልም ተባለ። ለምን ያኔ እንትን ውስጥ ከተቷት። ግን ኢንዲቪጁዋሊ ብዙ ኮንትሪቢዩት ያደርጋሉ ኤርትራኖች ለሀገራቸው።
እሱ አይደለም እኔ ዲያስፖራን ብልክም አሁን ዲያስፖራ ርዴታ እንትን ኤርትራ ርዴታ ጠይቃለች እንዴ?
አልጠየቀችም።
ታዲያ እኔ ሁሌ የምናደደው ለምን
ከባድ ላይ ነው ያለሽው። ከባድ ጥያቄው ላይ እና መልሱ ላይ ነን። አይ ኖ በጣም ይገባኛል ዴቦራ። በጣም ለመሰለሽ
ለምን ትምህርት አይወስድ? እኔ ሁሌም የምለው ለምን ኤርትራ ላይ ትምህርት አይወስዱም? የአፍሪካ መንግስታቶች ለምንድን ነው እነሱ? እኔ እኮ ሁሌን የሚያስበው 7 ሚሊዮን ወይም 6 ሚሊዮን መሰለኝ ኤርትራ። ግን ለምን 20 ዓመት ሙሉ ርዴታ አልጠየቁም? ባለፈው እኔ ነገር አይቼ ነበረ። የአፍሪካ ምንድን ነው እዛ ሄዶ ጎብኝት ሄዶ አይቶ እና በኤርትራ እንትን ትምህርት ወሰዱ ምናምን ብሎ ተናገረ ነበረ። እኔ ሁሉ ያስባለሁ በሙስና ብቻ አፍሪካ ውስጥ ይቅርታ አድርግንና ሙስና እራሳቸውን የብዝ ብር ለቅሞ ወደ አሜሪካ ወደ አውሮፓ ግን አያገኙም። በኋላ ደግሞ ይዘረፋሉ። ይሄ እኮ ነው የምናደደኝ። ቢጠቀሙን ጥሩ ነው፣ ምንም ችግር የለም።
እንግዲህ ይህንን ትራንስሌት ላድርገው ብዙ ነው ያወራ ነው። Okay, those of you who heard her in Amarinya, please correct me if I'm wrong also on the comment section. But basically, she's given Eritrea as being the prime example that Africa should learn on how to run their businesses when it comes to corruption. and how you can really have a control within the corruption, and at the same time, 20 years within the sanction that Eritrea suffered, never asked for help. The only people that helped her was the people themselves, Eritrean themselves, that helped in order to survive and sustain for the last 20 years of the sanction. And she wants to, she said, it's an example, it's a prime example country, the way they survived it and how they survived it. We should learn from Eritrea and how they worked it. And she really wants people really to have an understanding to run the country just the way Eritrea did, and do not let any foreigners, like she said, there's no United Nations that can interfere with the Eritrean situation. And it's true, there was on the border, and he just got rid of them because they were introducing corruption, they were getting human trafficking. All that happened during the border dispute because they had 25 kilometers of buffer zone. And that 25-kilometer buffer zone, the only UN is on both sides guarding the borders, so there won't be no wars again. But again, Eritrea never asked for any zero debts. Literally, Eritrea was zero debts on independence, and 20 years she had no debts to it. She just gained through her people, and people believed as Eritreans. They were not divided. They all thought as Eritreans. So that's one of the difference in Eritrea. And everybody did military service also. Don't forget that, Deborah. Everybody is conscripted to military service. ታውቂያለሽ አይደል? ሚሊተሪ ሰርቪስ እንደሚገቡ ሳዋ ይገባሉ። እና እሱ ራሱ ወታደራዊ ስርዓት አለው። እና ወታደራዊ ስርዓት ለመላ ኤርትራዊ ነው የሚሰጠው ለሚኖረው። እና ያ ራሱ ስርዓቱ
ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ ልጅ ከምን ወታደር ውስጥ ነው አለች ያውቃል እኮ።
ልጆቹን እዛው ነው ያስተማራቸው፣ እዛው ነው ሳዋ ነው ሰርቭ ያደረጉት። እና የተለየ ነገር የለም። ምናሽ
አገር መውደድ እንደ የጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ ልጅ እዛ ወታደር ውስጥ ያለች መሰለኝ። አንድ ጊዜ ፎቶ ነበር። ስንት ግድብ የገደቡ እንደነሱ አፍሪካ ውስጥ 3 ቢያሉ 3 ካሉ እውነት ይበቃል። አፍሪካ ትቀየራለች። እኛ ግን እነሱ ሙስናና አብዝን ተረሱ። ለሙስናና እንደፈለጋቸው ይሁን። አንድ ጊዜ መሰለኝ እንትን ነበረ። እኔ ሁሌ ይጠላሉኝ ታይት እናደርጋለን እንትን ኢጂፕሽያኖች ጋር እንትን ከዛ ትዊተር ላይ ነው እንደዚህ ያሉት የአፍሪካ መንግስታቶች ነጮች ወስተርኖች ከመጣችሁ እናንተ ጥቁር ነጭ ቀይ ለብስ አንጥፋችሁና ተቀበሉ። እነሱ እንደ ባሪያ እናንተ ለነሱ ተላላኪ ትሆናላችሁ። አሁን እኮ ባርነት ውስጥ ሰው ነው። ለምንድን ነው እነሱ አይቀበላችሁም? እንደዚህ ለምሳሌ አሜሪካ እኮ የትኛው አፍሪካ ውስጥ ገብታ በጉብኝት የአሜሪካ መንግስት የትኛው አፍሪካ ውስጥ መጥቶ ነው ጉብኝት ያልኩና ከዛ አንድ መጥቶ እነሱ እናንተ የኢጂፕሽያን እንትን ኮመንት ላይ ሰጠኝና በውስጥ ተናገር አንቺ ሁሌ የምትጻፊ እንትን ነው አለኝ። አይለኛ ቃልት ነሽ ምናምን አለኝ። እናንተ አሁን እኮ ባርነት ውስጥ ነው። ትናንትና እንትን ዩኬ ነው ገዛችሁ፣ ዛሬ ደግሞ አሜሪካ ነው። እናንተ አፍሪካ ተወክሉም ሄዱና ለነሱ
All right, I got to translate this again. I think you saw the Twitter line, አይደለ?
ትዊተር ላይ ነው እኔ ሁሌ ይምላሉ ሁሌ
every
እነሱ
time. Yeah.
ላንቻነች ምናምን
It's about the Egypt. He said basically it was ኢሳያስ ነው ኮሜንት ያደርገው አይደለ? ኢሳያስ ነው ኮሜንት ያደርገው ትዊተሩ ላይ
አይደለም እኔ ነኝ
Oh,
እናንተ
okay.
እኔ
She's the
እኔ
one that
ነኝ
put it on Twitter saying, those you guys been pretty much been colonized by British. Now the British are out. Now you're catering for US. So every time there's a white man that's gonna come and he put a red carpet for him, he's always gonna look at you as his own slave. Look at him, Bacho.
እና
In the slave.
ሁሌ
Gotcha.
ለእነሱ የት አለ ያው በጣም የሚፈሩ እኮ እንትን ፕሬዚዳንት ኢሳያስ አሜሪካን ብትል አውሮፓን ብትል በጣም ነው የሚፈሩ። የኛ ግን ለእነሱ ይሰግዳሉ እንደ እግዚአብሔር። ሰው ነው፣ እግዚአብሔር አንድ አድርጎ ከፈጠረ እኔ ጥላቻ አይደለም፣ ግን ለምን ለምን እንዴ ሌሎቹ የራሳቸው ከተከበሩ እኮ እብዛቸው ሊከበር ይችላል። ራሳቸው ዝቅ አድርጎ ለሌሎቹ
So I think one of the issues she mentioned that when it comes to the Eritrean president, pretty much they have kind of fear not to mess with him anyway because he didn't allow them. One of the things. So she said they have. I think it's his policies and his straightforwardness, and he doesn't budge. He's very adamant on what plans, what he decide, because one of his motto is instead of being slave for life, he prefer one day of freedom. So basically, that was his message. በአማርኛ ስተረጉመው ከዘላለም ባርነት የአንድ ቀን ነፃነት ብሎ ያወጀ ነው።
እግዚአብሔር አንድ አድርጎ ከፈጠረ እኮ ሰው ክብር ነው። ለምሳሌ ሰው እኔ አንተ እወዳለሁ እከብራለሁ፣ ግን አንተ ደግሞ እኔ ላይ ሌላ ነገር ጫና እኔ ነው አንቺ የምስተዳደረው እኔ ነው የፈለግኩሽ የምሰጠሽ ምናምን ካለ እኔ እቀበላለሁ፣ እንደ እወዳለሁ እከብራለሁ፣ ግን ሌላ ነገር
በጣም
አለ።
እና
ለእኔ
አንድ
እግዚአብሔር እኮ ነፃነት ሰጠኝ፣ ለአንተም ነፃነት ተከባብረን የምኖረው እንጂ ሌላ መጥቶ እኔን የምገዛ ሁለተኛ ባርነት ነው እንደ የምቀበለው። እንደዚህ
እሱ
ነው
ነው
ሁሌ የሚጠሉኝ። እኔ አልወድም። ለምሳሌ ሰው ይሄን አድርጊ የሚሆነው አልወድም። እንደማዘዙኝ አልፈልግም፣ ግን ራሴን አውቄ እሰራለሁ። ግን ሰው ይከብራሉ፣ ይወዳሉ። ሌላ በክብር ከሆነ ኦኬ፣ በክብር ካልሆነ ደግሞ አልቀበልም። እኔ ይሄ ነው ባርነት። ለምሳሌ እኔ ራሴ ቤተሰቦች ያሳደጉኝ ራሴን ለራሴ እኔ ለምሳሌ ኢትዮጵያዊ ስለሆንኩ ይኮራሉ። ገሬንዳ ብትሆን ይኮራሉ። በቃ ምክንያቱም የሚኮራ ደግሞ በኮሎን አልተገዛችም። ትናንትና ነጮች ጋር እየተጣለን ዛሬም አልተገዛም። ይሄ ነው ሰው ራሳቸውን ራሴ ካልከበርክ ማን ነው የሚከበረው? እኔ አንተ ጋር መጀመሪያ ራሴ ካከበርክ ከእንትን ካለልክ እኔ ራሴ አንተ መከበር ይችላል እንዴ? ስለዚህ ማንም ሰውም ቢሆን አገር አይደለም አንድ ሰውም ቢሆን እኮ ራሱን መከበር ይችላል። ለምሳሌ ጆ ባይደን ባለፈው እንትን ውስጥ ወጣ።
ይህን ትራንስሌት
አፍሪካኖች ምንድን ነው
ይህን ነገር ትራንስሌት አድርገው ለምን basically what Deborah is saying, you have to respect yourself and have self-respect. If you don't have respect to yourself, how can other people can respect you? And when you take it in a countrywide, if you don't get respect or get your own respect, how can you get your country to be respected? I will ask Sam, you know, if I didn't translate it quite right, I'd like to have some comment from you guys. But basically, you need to have a self-respect before respecting others. ትክክል ነኝ አይደለ? አሁን ስለ ባይደን ተናገርሽ ቀጥይ።
ለምሳሌ ባለፈው እንትን 3 ቀን 4 ቀን ባይደን እንትኑ ወደ አረቦቹ መጥቶ ጎበኛለን። ለአፍሪካኖቹ ኑ ለምን እሱ አይመጣም እንዴ? አፍሪካኖቹ ለምንድን ነው እዛ አሜሪካ የሚሄዱ እንዴ? ምንድን ነው ችግሩ? የእኛ ብቻ ነው እንዴ ለእነሱ የምንበርከከው? የእኛ ብቻ ነው እንዴ ለእነሱ የምንሰግድ? ለምን አይመጡም እነሱ? ኢትዮጵያ እንዳመጣ ኤርትራ እንዳመጣ ለምን? ሳውዝ አፍሪካ አለ፣ ጋና አለ፣ ታንዛኒያ አለ፣ ሌላም ሌላ ኬንያ አለ። እኛ ጠብ ከሆነ ማለት ነው እኛ ሁለቱ ነገር እነሱ የሚፈልጉ ለእነሱ የእኛ ካንሰር ሆነናል። እነሱም አይተኙም፣ ለእኛም አልተኛም። ግን ለምን? ምክንያቱ እዛ ሳውዲ አረቢያ ውስጥ የኢጂፕሽያን ፕሬዚዳንት እዛ ተቀፍ ኢጂፕሽያ ሲጀመር የአፍሪካ አይደለችም። እነሱ ነው እነሱ አፍሪካ አይወክሉም። እዛ እነሱ ራሳቸው እንደ ራሳቸው ይሆኑ። ግን ለምንድን ነው ለምን አይመጣ ወደ አሜሪካ ነው? ይሄ ነው እኮ ለምን በቃ እነሱ ነው ይምጡ። እነሱ ለምን አይመጡም? አሜሪካ ለምን የአሜሪካ ፕሬዝዳንቶች ለምን አይመጡም አፍሪካ? እኛ ብቻ ነው እንደ እነሱ የሚጠሩኝ እኛ የማይገኝ ይቅርታ ግን እንትን ውስጥ
well, you know, she just brought up an example of Joe Biden going to Saudi Arabia and trying to make some deals and stuff like that. But when it comes to Africans, you know, instead of really going to the heart of question and matters, instead of visiting the country, they rather having the Africans to come to U.S. And I think the idea is that why they don't visit Africa when it comes to United States, because of the interest. That's her question. Why is why we have to go to them anytime that they want to see you? You just kind of go and visit the U.S. for any country issues or anything else. So she's saying they should come to Africa and see what's going on the ground, rather than just going to Saudi Arabia type of thing and trying to make a deal. So, in the nutshell, basically, they rather African leaders come and visit U.S. And I think it has to do a lot of it has to do a lot of security issues, because to cater a U.S. president and having ground level security is very important, and it costs a lot of money for each countries to have a full security around the clock while the United States president comes. So they have some protocol, just to let you know. They have a protocol that they have to make sure that it is safe and sound, and it's been really a guarantee for the president. In Saudi Arabia, of course, they got the money, and they have the surveillance, and they have everything that they need to go and visit. If you notice where they go, but in Africa, it's another thing that we have to look at, is because we have to make sure, just the way the U.S. Leader comes through, in order to make him come, we have to have our own security, our own national security, our African securities has to prevail, so we can have all these leaders from any part of the world to visit. Uh, and Africa lack that security issue. And when we do have the security, it costs us arm and legs to cover that state head of state visit because of the security issues. That's one of the things. It's not just because they don't want to visit. It's just we don't have that intel or security that we can pass on to secure those head of states, and it becomes part of their secret services determining, yeah, is it going to be safe, and then when they do the evaluation, each country might have certain issues, and they have to have an interest to visit those countries, like Obama did visit Kenya, Ethiopia. So uh, it cost them a lot of money to really make sure that the president is safe. So for us, for African to go and meet those leadership, uh, it's a lot easier. The security is always there, and they have the funds, they have the intelligence, they have everything at their disposal. The problem in Africa, we don't have that security, that sense of security. Does it make sense, Deborah? ገብቶሻል አይደለ? እኛ የፕሬዚደንቱ ሴኪሪቲ ጋራንቲ ልናደርገው አንችልም። ካረግነው ደግሞ በጣም ብዙ ብር ነው የሚያስወጣል።
ለምሳሌ እንዴት የእንትኑ የሩሲያ ፕሬዝዳንት አሁን ሊመጣ ነው ኢትዮጵያ፣ ለሱስ እንዴት ነው?
ለሱ እንዲያውም ከአሜሪካን የበለጠ ነው እንትን ጉዳዩ።
ተደሱ ሊመጣ ነው
ሊመጣ ነው፣ ግን እንግዲህ መቼ እንደሚመጣ ምን ያህል እንደሚያወጣብን አስቢው። እንግዲህ እሱ ከዓለም ጋር ያለው ችግር እና አሁን ወሶች እንደሚያዩት እኛ ሀገር በሚመጣበት ይመጣል ሲባል እንግዲህ አስቢው ሴኪሪቲ የሚያስፈልገው። አስተውለሽ እንደሆነ እሱ ፑቲን ራሱ በካቢኔት እንኳን ስታየው ያለው ዲስተንስ ከህዝቡ ጋር አይተሽዋል።
እነሱም ቢመጡም ባልመጡም እኛ ምንም ችግር የለም፣ ግን አንዳንድ ጊዜ ራሳችን ዝቅ ለማድረግ
ግን ለእንትኑ we have security issues, okay? And if you, like you said, the Russian president is planning a trip to Ethiopia. So in that planning, there will be a lot of other things that you have to look into in the intelligence, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And I believe it will cost more than the United States president coming in and visiting. It will cost more. Because of the situation that we have in the world. So, anything happened to that head of state, it's a disaster. And some of the countries to bear that kind of responsibility is very, very hard. So, whether they visit or not, okay, one of the things that I want is to have equal trading partners and to help us out into infrastructures, whatever that we need, but without interfering in our affairs, our internal affairs. As long as they stay and help on bringing Africa to the next level, why not? We can visit them if they want whatever they want us to meet. But if it is not, if it is something to influence us and to change our mind in certain support, like the Ukraine and Russian war, which side the African votes, and then after the vote, they will come and blackmail and put them on a blacklist, and then still make them revote again on a different direction. Right there, that shows you the power that they want to use. So why should I have a visitor from that part if it's going to decide on my fate? And he's going to say, well, we visited it, but we got this issue. And if you don't solve these issues, then you'll be sanctioned, or you'll be, this part of funding that was supposed to be established, like, I don't know if you recall when the Secretary of State visited Ethiopia. He made the Prime Minister wait about 20 minutes. And actually, the State Secretary, his equivalence is the foreign minister. But Abiy took his place to welcome him, but he was waiting until his cameraman shows up. And can you imagine, the Prime Minister has much more things. He had a meeting that day also, but he had an agenda to welcome the head of state. Not the head of state, but the state secretary. Simata, he waited 20 minutes. He asked, is there a security issue? They said, no, it's not a security issue. He's waiting for his own cameraman to show up. So Abiy decided, oh, well, he can wait for him, I'm out, whenever he's ready, let me know. So as he start walking inside, you see Pompeo running on the stairs. He knew he's not going to wait for him. So, and then he made the handshake. And at the same time, he expected to talk to the prime minister, but his agenda is with the foreign affairs minister. So Abiy showed him that way, not with me. And that really triggered kind of a really a roller coaster for him, that he was really mad at him. And when he got to Sudan, and that's when there was $130 million allocated for infrastructures and upgrades and everything else for uh, literally for all foreigners that lives in Ethiopia. And Abiy in return, when they took that money, said, well, we're going to do what the best we can. This is the money that they allocated for the safety and the communication for your own kind. So we live without it. That's how he answered. That's part of history. So when it comes to expecting the West or any leadership, and you're gonna really bring in all kind of head of state in your country, there's a lot of costs involved when it comes to security. And at the same time, the visit better be something very important, not just for visit per se at that time. It's to do, there's a problem, there's an issue, and they want to make sure that they deal with it. So it won't happen. So that teaches us something. If they're not safe in our continent, how can we make our continent safe? That's the other question. And it's up to all African to really uh, put their security system just the way the prime minister or the president that lives it within the country has a certain level of security entourage and basically secret services. There's a lot of people that really are, well, we cannot see them. They don't have any uniform or anything else, but they are among the people. So these kind of moves and security, first, we would have to establish the communication between leadership and the people, and bring peace upon the people, where peace would be the winner at the end of the day. Now that you have peace, then you have safety that follows. So we lack uh, national security. Do we have the people? Yes, we do. Are they trained? Can be deployed anytime? Yeah, they are. But at the same time, we're going to have to invest some more time in training in order to uh, bring them up to par to the security agendas. So Africa has a lot of work to do. You know, South Africa have a great security system that they're in place, and that's why you see a lot of uh, head of states heading into South Africa. The same thing, you go to Nigeria, Ghana, they have that available when it comes to your safety. So there are certain uh, countries in Africa that can guarantee such security uh, on the fly because they have that already established, and the safety of their people is guaranteed. And if there's any other that's going to come to that standard, we got to bring the whole Africa to the same standard. So any visiting head of state can be really welcomed, and because who benefits? This is a global market, a global. Uh, it's pretty much globalized. So any interaction with such set of head of states makes a difference in the country. All right, let's see on the comment. I didn't see the on the comment. Welcome, Samira, Aboyak, of course, Sam, and also have Gadist uh, that just joined us. Hi. Um, anyway, any comment that you have? At the same time, I just wanted to treat you to another beautiful song by Mika. የሚካን ዘፈኖች ወደድሽው ዴቦራ?
ሰምቻለሁ ባለፈው እኮ።
ወደድሽው?
ዘፈን ነው ዘሙር ነው?
መዝሙር
መስሙር ነው።
መዝሙር እንግዲህ ለእኔ እንግዲህ ሙዚቃ ነው።
አንተ ክርስቲያን አይደለህ እንዴ?
እኮ እንግዲህ ሞደርን ነው እንደዛ እናድርገው። እኔ እንትኑ ነው ሊሪኮቹ ናቸው ማዳምጠው እና አሁን ደግሞ ሌላ አለችው እሱን እስቲ ለሚሲ I had it ready earlier.
በኋላ ላይ የሆነ ነገር ልጠይቅኝ
ጠይቅኝ እስከምዘጋጅ።
ኦኬ ባለፈው አንተ የለም እዚህ ላይ የሆነ ውይይት አለ። የሆነ ጥያቄ ጠይቄ ነበረ። እነሱ ሌላ ነገር ነው ወሰዱ። እኔ ያልኩ ሴትና ወንድ ለምሳሌ የአፍሪካ ሴትና የአፍሪካ ወንዶች ሴት ለምንድን ነው ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ አትሆንም? ለምንድን ነው እነሱ እኮ ሴቶች ቢነሱ ወንዶች ይነሳሉ ብዬ ለምንድን ነው ሁሌ አፍሪካ ውስጥ ሴቶች ወደ ታች የሚወርዱ? ለምንድን ነው ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ የማይሆነው ብዬ ጠየቅኩ። እነሱ ደግሞ ሌላ ነገር አሉ። ሴት ልጅ ወይ
ሴት ልጅ እንኳን ሴት
እኔ ጠየቅኩ። እነሱ በእንግሊዘኛ ነው ትንሽ እንግሊዘኛ ያወራውና እኔ ጠየቅኩ። እነሱ የሆነ ሴትና ወንድ ላይ ያወሩ ነበረ። ሴት ልጅ የአፍሪካ ሴቶች ለምንድነው ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ አይሆኑም? ለምንድነው ሁሌ ቤት ውስጥ የሚሉ? ለምንድነው ወንዶች ጋር እኩል መስራት ለምን አልችሉም ብዬ ጠየቁ። ከዛ እነሱ ሌላ ነገር አሉ። ሴት ልጅ
ልጅ ትወልዳለች፣
ልጅ ታሳድጋለች፣ ባሉ ምናምን ኮንትራት ታደርጋለች ምናምን አሉ። ከዛ አንድ ወንድ ነው እዛ ውስጥ ያለኝ። ከዛ እኔ ደግሞ ለምንድን ነው ይሄ ሁሉ ነገር ለሷ ብቻ ነው ወንዶቹም አይሆንም? እኔ ያልኩ ሌላ ነገር ነው። እናንተ ግን አነሳስተው ይሄ ነው። እኔ ያልኩ ሴቶች እኮ ሊግ ቢፈጠሩ ለምሳሌ ኢትዮጵያ፣ ኤርትራ ሁሉም አፍሪካኖች ሴቶች ቢመጡ አንድ ላይ ሊግ ተሰብስቦ ለምሳሌ በአመት አመት 2 ጊዜ ነው አንድ ጊዜ ወደ አዲስ አበባ ይመጣል ወደ እንትን።
Wow.
ከዛ እኔ ደግሞ እኔ እንግሊዝኛ እንትን ያልሆነ ነበር አላውቅም። ለምንድን ነው ሴቶቹም እንደሱ ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ አይሆኑም? ለምሳሌ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እና የአዲስ አበባ ከንቲባ ለምሳሌ የፌዴራል እንትን ፕሬዚዳንት ሳህለወርቅ ዘውዴ እንደዚህ ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ የሚችሉ ሴቶች ለምንድን ነው አንድ ላይ መጥቶ ተጽዕኖ አይፈጠሩም? እዛ ጊዜ ወንዶቹም ይነሳሉ ብዬ ጠየቅኩ።
Let me translate this. Okay, I know it's a little bit off topics, but she's talking about Tanzan show. It was about the men and women, certain rights, and actually she asked why don't the women put the same pressure or put it pressure on the men in order to make the men work. But people misunderstood her, and they told her that she is in the making a controversial discussion, but she really meant to say, women has the same rights and the same equal rights as men. So people took it on a different level, and they criticized. There was some kind of criticism that came to her. So these are the things that she came and she wanted to bring it up to the audience that probably heard her, because some of the English that they used was a little bit tough for her to understand. So that's where the discussion was just about really women has the same right as men, to really put it. And she gave an example of some of the leadership in Athens, and they are females, and they were doing the same. A good thing about really in the leadership. So it's off topic, but again, what we heard you. And next time, make sure that you get a translator at all times. So we can,
አይሰማም።
አይሰማም?
አሁን
አሁን ይሰማል? Okay. And next time, make sure that you have a translator. We'll make sure that your voice is heard and translated. Sam should have been on that topic. Usually Sam was around. I was not in that topic. I later on joined, and she was thanking you for joining. Okay, and they were. I'm going to treat you guys with this music from Mika Shavala, and see and enjoy.
Love is deep, deeper than the sea. Love is high, higher than the stars. Love is wide and long, it's more than I can see. One can love the way like you do. Your love is deep, deeper than the sea. Love is high, higher than the stars. Love is wide and long, is more than I can see. No one can love me the way like you do. Your love deeper than the sea, higher than the stars, brighter than the sun. You sent us your son, light of the world. No room for darkness, no more turning back. Oh. You call the beauty out of the ashes. Your perfect love lights up the darkness. For to see the light and no more blindness. Your kingdom, your glory shine. Your love is deeper than the sea, higher than the stars, brighter than the sun. You sent us your son, light of the world. No room for darkness, no more turning back. It's your love, the reason we live, the reason we move. We have our being in your love. All chains are gone, orphans are born, freedom for. Love is we worship you, 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 we love you, Lord, we love you, Lord, we love you, Lord, we love you, Lord. 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 Hallelujah. 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 So love, the reason we live, the reason we move, we have our being in your love. All chains are gone, orphans have homes, freedom for all.
Thank you.
There you have it. በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ሁላችሁንም ለምትከታተሉ። ብዙ እንትኖች አሉ። እግዚአብሔር የሰጠው ጸጋ ነው. And I'm glad, I'm so glad that we have Mika Shavala himself giving us a beautiful voice and beautiful rhythm, and as well Godspeed, his partner. And there's actually a documentary that's been put out there, and also a live interview, the genesis of Swahili Nation One Africa. So I really appreciate everybody that joined me today. Deborah በጣም አመሰግናለሁ. Thank you so much for joining us, putting your two words in there. Everything that has been on this Somali Nation, One Africa move to bring our own office. Again, I just want to remind everybody, please pass the word. Make sure that you tell your family we're on a big mission, and our mission cannot be fulfilled without you. You're the only key for our future, for our belief of what Somali Nation stands for. So for those of you that are out there, please be generous. I'm trying to have a gap of 3,370, and hopefully it should be coming to. Sometimes this GoFundMe doesn't update. I try to refresh it, and let me see. I just put it in there. I didn't refresh it yet. Abit?
አሁን ልተኛ ነው ቀደና ደሬ እኔ ነገር ልጠይቅ ብዬ አንድ ጊዜ በውስጥ ወደ ተናገ አወርነ ነበረ የራሴ ጉዳይ ነው
እሺ
እኔ ግርሻለሁ ምናምን ደሜም እየቀነሰ ነው ምናምን ብዬ አንድ ጊዜ እነግርሃለሁ
እኔ ደውዬ አልነጋግርሻለሁ ስለሱ እናወራለን
ስልኬ ጠፍቷል እንትኑ ያ ዋትስአፕ ጠፍቶ ነበር አሁን ሌላ ዋትስአፕ ነው ስልክ አለ እና እሱ ትነግረኝ ፈልጌ ነበር ምክንያቱም ኪሎዬን በጣም እየቀነሰ ነው ደሜም በጣም እየቀነሰ ነው እና አንድ ጊዜ እነግርሃለሁ ምናምን አልኩ
በቃ እንግዲህ ዋትስአፕ ቻናሉ ላይ ላኪልኝ ፕራይቬት ቻት ላይ አሁን ጻፊልኝ ፕራይቬት ላይ ጻፊ አዲሱን ቁጥርሽን
ለምሳሌ እንትኑ ስልኬ ያ አሁን የበፊቱ ስልክ እንትኑ ዋትስአፕ ጠፍቶ ነበር ይሄ ስልክ ደግሞ አሁን እያወራ ነው እንዴት ነው የምትጠፋው ዘግቼ እንደገና ነው የምትጠፋው እሱ
እንትኑ ላይ ይኸውልሽ ቁጥሬን ጻፍና እዛ ላይ ታደርጊዋለሽ ፕራይቬት ቻት ላይ አለ
እንደዛ እንትኒ ነው አልገባም አለ ያንተ ስልክ አለኝ እኮ አለኝ ግን እዚህ ላይ አዳው ማለት እንዴ አለኝ ያ ስልክ ደግሞ ስልክ አለኝ ግን እሱ ስልክ አለ ግን ዋትስአፕ ጠፍቷል ኢሞ ላይ ደግሞ አልወጣም
ያ ይሄን ቁጥር ከከተልሽ ይመጣል ፕራይቬት ቻት ላይ ልኬልሻለሁ
ኦኬ
ለማንኛውም እና ትራንስሌት ላድርግላቸው እነሱም okay our dear family again these are a few things that Deborah is suffering through low blood pressure and all that so she had some health issues and I've been asking for the family to pray for her and to make sure that a quick recovery quick healing and among our families is Marie Antoinette and as well Kaku, Izana, Kuku, and as well for Mika Shavada and the rest of Swahili Nation hosts. In the name of Xavier, may Xavier bring you a quick recovery, a quick healing. I always pray for you all. I just want to, if we all think every day, like I said earlier, put in your daily agenda for Africa. And I said, good things are coming my way. Thanks. That gives you a whole prayer for all the good things that you want to come. And Xavier always listen. So again, Deborah, I pray for you and I'll make sure that I get in touch with you. Are you able to pick up the phone number from there? Comment ላይ ሄድሽ ኮሜንት ውስጥ ሄድሽ አገኘሽ ቁጥሬን
አግኝቻለሁ
በቃ እሱን ኮፒ አድርጊና
ምን እንደሆነ ካላንኩ ነገር የመጣው ጊዜ ኪሎን ከፍ ያለኝ አሁን ኪሎ 43 ወረደ በ53 ወደ 43 ወረደ እና በጣም አመመኝም ግን ደሜን በጣም እየቀነሰኝ ነው። በቀን በቀን ሙቀትም አለ እዚህ በቃ በጣም ያስቸግረኛል እና ወደ ውስጥ ነው የምነግረኝ በቃ
በቃ እኔ አሁን በዚህኛው በስልክ አሁን የሰጠሁሽን በዛ ሞክሪ። የዋን አፍሪካ እንትን አለሽ? ዋትስአፕ አለሽ? ዋን አፍሪካ ዋትስአፕ አለሽ? የኛ ሾው ላይ የምናደርገው
የለኝም።
ኦኬ አሁን እንግዲህ ይህንን ትራንስሚሽን ትልበልና ሃንግ አፕ አድርጊ። እሺ well for all my brothers and sisters, the diaspora talk is about to end, and I really appreciate those that joined us, and I'm going to have a private chat with Deborah if I can help her and put certain things. Samira, thank you. Samira, you know, through wish a lot of people that I know within the family, they always think about you. They all love you. And the Takiwa Deborah. Buzu family audition. Not any African that hurt you, they hurt you. You're the ambassador. Anji Africa ambassador nation. Na hulgize anji ambassador Deborah no English. Through Tumanyalish, we always appreciate everything that you contribute to the show. You and Marie Antoinette, especially with all this health issue that you guys are coming in over and over and putting your words of wisdom, we really greatly appreciate that. And the family appreciate that, and the family knows Deborah and as well Marie Antoinette, and believe me, the family prays. So I want everybody to pray for her for a quick recovery, and as well for Marie Antoinette, and she's battling cancer. So we know our family are battling certain health issue, and those of you that didn't ask or did not forward for prayers, we heard you. We pray for you. May Xavier be with you. As Mike from Africa said, Xavier Imarish, Aizush, Waladita Amlak, Tasamish, Medanit, okay, Waladita Amlak, Tismash. That's what you got. So, blessing from Mika, Africa Unite. And Samira already said sorry to Deborah. Well wishes. I mean, yes, Deborah. And now, in the same token, for those of you that joined me today on Diaspora Talk, and I totally am grateful for this talk show that went well, and I hope we put few words to it. And again, I pray. So Xavier, በጣም እናመሰግናለን ለዚች አጭር ሰዓት ስለ ሀገራችን፣ ስለ ህዝባችን ማድረግና መደረግ ያለበትን ያማከርከን ክቡር እግዚአብሔር ሆይ ምስጋና ላንተ። ሁልጊዜ ምስጋና ላንተ። ጸሎታችን የምትሰማ ክብር ያለ የታመሙብንን የምታሽልልን የሞቱትን ወደ መንግስተ ሰማያት የምታገባልን በጣም ደግ አምላካችን አሁንም ቢሆን እናመሰግናለን። እግዚአብሔር ሆይ ለሰጠኝ ልሳን ያንተ ነውና ለተናገርኩት ነገር ሁሉ እንደሚሰምርና እንዳዳመጥከኝ እንደሰማኝ አምናለሁ። እዚህ ላይ ሁሉም ተሰብስበው የምታየው የእግዚአብሔር ልጆችን በሙሉ ጠብቃቸው፣ ባሉበት ባረካቸው፣ ባሉበት ጤናቸውን፣ መንፈሳቸውን፣ ቤተሰቦቻቸውን፣ ጓደኞቻቸውን፣ ሀገራቸውን ጠብቅ። አሜን። ስማሙ መንፈስ ቅዱስ አምላክ አሜን። So today I did in prayer in my native language. Xavier, Almighty Father, we thank you for giving us this moment to share our thoughts for the betterness of Africa and its people. And for those that are ill, you may give them a blessing for quick recovery. And I mentioned it earlier, Deborah, Marie Antoinette, Kaku, Kuku, Ezana, and as well Mika, that always ask for prayers, and as well Israel and the rest of the hosts of One Africa. Thank you for hearing us, and it shall be done in your words. We believe. Amen. All right, this is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining. May God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.